What's up, it's your boy Serrano, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Umidigi G3 MAX, and we're also going to be taking a look at the Motorola Moto G Stylus 2023 4G. So let's go ahead and see what comes inside of the box for each one of these phones. Umidigi gives you a case with the G3 MAX. They also give you a charging brick and a wall adapter, so I definitely think that's pretty cool. And this is actually type C to type A, and so you're gonna get pretty decent speeds. It does give fast charging, so that's gonna be a plus with this device. Now when it comes to the unboxing of the Moto G Stylus 2023, you get recyclable materials. So they give you the nice covering that's made of recyclable materials, and then they give you a power cord. And inside the box, there's actually no brick in here from what I can recall. So they just gave you the remover tool and they gave you the cord. So it's actually missing the brick in here. But besides that, both of these phones are very affordable. I'll make sure I leave the cheapest links for both of these phones down below. But you're gonna see right here the different colors you're getting, and these are some really good colors when it comes to the covers, the colors of both of these devices. So the G3 MAX does come in a variety of different colors, so you could pick it up in a few different ones, including this orange color that it does have to offer, and it's got a nice leather-like feel to it. It's not real leather, but it definitely feels really good when you're holding it. It's got like a hard plastic type of leather feel to it. And this is called the premium orange. It also comes in the Iceland blue or the midnight blue. And then this is the Glam pink for the Moto G Stylus 2023. So it's actually like a rose gold color. It matches my Trenya T6 headphones. These headphones actually go perfect with this device. You can see right here we do get a 50 megapixel in the back on both of these things, so they both have very similar camera setups, which is why I wanted to actually compare them, because it looks pretty similar. At the top you can see we get a microphone on both, and on the right you can see on the Umidigi G MAX it's going to have a headphone jack. And what I really like, they're both made of plastic, but you're going to notice that the G3 MAX gets cold to the touch, so it feels like metal on the sides. They both have a nice cold to the touch feel to them now that I'm talking about it. And then you can see right here on the bottom is where you get the Moto G Stylus's S Pen or Stylus Pen. And then you also get the headphone jack on the bottom, type C on both, and microphones on both. Now when it comes to the right side, you can see the buttons and the fingerprint. So if I hit the G3 MAX on the side, it's going to unlock the device, and I just booted it up, both of these things up, so I got to put my password in for both of them real quick. And so you can see the displays on both of these things are going to look pretty good when it comes to the overall displays. So you could just see right here, I'm going to put the brightness all the way up, and you can actually see that they're running on a very similar looking software, which is interesting. So I want to get into that in more detail, because the Motorola phones have always had a software that was actually stock Android, and so the Umidigi is actually offering the stock Android experience too, but Motorola has additional software included in their devices that I really like Chop to turn on the flashlight, flip to actually turn on the camera. You know, they got exclusive Moto features, which are really cool. So yeah, I definitely think both of these things are gonna have some cool features. This one actually has a 120 touch sample rate, which is kind of cool. So it doesn't have a 120 hertz refresh rate. See, if I go into settings, you're going to notice that right now. And so this one has they both have really good displays when you look at both displays, and I'm going to go in right here so you can see what I was talking about. But when it comes to they both have Android 13 as well, and so that's going to be another solid thing about them. But the displays I want to get into in a second. Okay, All right, so you could definitely see if we get the 60 hertz smooth refresh rate for the sample rate on the Umidigi. We also get something right here called Dolby Atmos. And one of the things about this is it's going to give you an extremely premium listening experience. So that's another thing that I really like about the Moto devices. And so if I go into settings on here and go to display, I'm going to show you the display settings right here. Let me just hit that, and you're going to notice we have a 90 hertz refresh rate or 60 on the Moto, device right here. Now, as far as the displays, they're both going to be pretty similar. Now, on the Umidigi, you're going to actually have on here the Umidigi is going to have a 6.6 inch display, and then the Moto is going to have a 6.5 inch display. So they're pretty much similar when it comes to the displays as far as looking at them. And you're going to notice overall they look very similar. So we have 400 pixels per inch on the G3 MAX though, and we only have 270 pixels per inch but on the Moto G Stylus, but the colors actually look really good on both. So let me just change the wallpaper on the G3 MAX, and you can see right here the screen resolutions are different. We're getting a 1080 by 2408 pixels per pixels on the display of the Umidigi, and we're getting 720 times 1600 when it comes to the Moto. So yeah, now that wallpaper looks a little bit better than the one I had before. So you can definitely see the cutouts at the top. You get a punch hole cutout on the Moto, and you actually get a waterfall cutout on the G3 MAX. So when it actually comes to using the displays, they both actually have a nice feel to them. With the touch refresh sampling rate being 120 on the Umidigi, it actually matches the 90 hertz refresh rate on the Moto. So those are both giving you some really cool like quick navigation when you're using both of these. So I just really like that part about it. So you can see right here, this is the Moto right here, and when I'm watching movies on this, it actually looks really good compared to the G MAX. Even though it's a 720, the G3 MAX, you can see the colors are a little bit different and everything, but they look really similar when you look at it from the top view. But when you look at it from the side view, it looks a little different because the viewing angles aren't the best in the entire world. But let's see what the maximum resolution we can watch both of these videos in. So we get 1080 60 on both of, maybe it's just this movie, but we get 1080 60 on here. So you can see that this is the difference when it comes to the viewing experience. This is the microphones that you're hearing. Actually the speakers coming out of the Moto G Stylus, and it actually has really good loud speakers. They're dual speakers, so it makes this device really nice. Especially look how beautiful the display looks when it comes to the thin bezels and stuff like that. It has like a thin chin and a thin forehead. And then on the Umidigi, let me just turn up the volume on here. It doesn't have dual speakers, but it does sound pretty good overall. And you can see this is the viewing experience when you're holding it, and it's actually a really nice experience overall because the phone has nice flat edges, so it feels really good when you're holding it in one hand when you're watching movies and stuff. Now when it comes to storage, I have 64 gigabytes total on the Moto G Stylus right here, and so that's actually a pretty decent amount for the price of this device. But we're actually getting 128 on here, which is going to actually be really good when it comes to the overall storage that you're going to get. And you're going to be able to expand the memory on both of these devices with an SD card or whatever. Now when it comes to battery, you're getting a 5150 milliamp hour on the G Max, the G3 Max, and a 5000 milliamp hour on the G Stylus. So I definitely think as far as battery, they're going to be very similar, and both of them are going to give you at least a day and a half or even 2 days when it comes to the overall usage. But if you're still here, just type in the comment section down below. I'm still here, so I know you're still kicking it with me. And I just want to remind you to hit the like button so we can get this video out to more people and help boost the engagement. Okay? Another feature that the Moto G Stylus packs is that stylus pen. It's also water repellent as well, and it gives you the option to sketch right here on the phone, so you can actually create lists. I need deodorant, and I also need detergent, so liquid detergent for my clothes or whatever. So you can move around this to actually get your pop-up features right here, and then that's kind of cool that it's there. So I put liquid I know I spelled this wrong, the odor, and then it actually works pretty good. And liquid detergent for clothes. And then it also gives you the ability to change the thickness, making it thinner. You could switch to a pen, a pencil, or a marker and change the colors and stuff. And you also do get eraser, lasso, and the measuring stick. And so then you can actually, with the lasso, you can actually highlight stuff and copy, stuff like that, move things around or whatever. So I definitely think the stylus can come in handy if you're like using it for taking notes, jotting like ideas down and stuff. I think that's the best, case scenario to use it for when it comes to it. Now, when it comes to the SoC that we're using on the Umidigi G3 MAX, it's actually going to be pretty decent. If you go into the graphics, you got ultra and smooth settings. You can pump up the volume a little bit, and you can see we actually have 8 gigabytes of RAM on here, as well as the Tiger T606. It's a capable processing chip. And so you can get a lot of gaming done on here. With the 8 gigabytes of RAM, it's pretty decent. Also, the touch response rate being 120 is going to be helpful as well. But you got some decent RAM on here, dual channel RAM. You can also expand it with the virtual RAM on this thing, which is kind of cool that they give you the ability to increase the RAM. I'm trying to figure out where these shots is coming from. Okay, he caught me right there. Now, when it comes to the Motorola G Stylus, it's going to have a pretty decent processing chip as well. It's also going to give you an octa-core processing chip, 4 gigabytes of RAM on here. It actually feels really smooth. Alright, so yeah, the gameplay on here feels really smooth, and especially sounds really good when the guns are going off with the dual speakers on here. And so when it comes to the cameras on both of these devices, the Moto G Stylus is using a Samsung camera, and the Umidigi is using the CMOS camera BSI. So it's basically the CMOS or CMOS camera, and they both have 50 megapixels on there. And also the front is going to have some pretty decent cameras as well when it comes to both phones, because you're getting a 5 megapixel. So I kind of wanted to test out the cameras real quick so you guys can see exactly what we're getting when it comes to the overall camera experience. So what's interesting is that you do get a macro camera on the Moto, but you don't have that macro. You just have a depth sensor. You can see we have night mode on both of these devices, slow motion on the Umidigi and time lapse, but you get dual capture, group selfie, like a lot more features on the Moto G, and dual capture for photos, and you get dual capture for videos. So I think that's going to be a really solid feature when it comes to using this. It's going to have a lot of features inside of it for the cameras, and they're both going to record in 1080-30. But I'm going to do a fingerprint test, and then I'm also going to do a speed test, and then we'll wrap up the video. So let's clear out all of the apps, and let's just see which one feels quicker when I'm actually scrolling on here. They both feel pretty fast, but you can definitely tell that the Umidigi has a more powerful chip. But when it was coming to gaming and stuff like that, I noticed that the Moto had a smoother frame rate. So let's test out some apps on both of these when it comes to like opening up apps. Let's do IG 1 2 3. And the Umidigi opened that real quick. I don't know if it's because I just booted up my Moto, but the Moto took really long to open up that app. So maybe it's just getting warmed up right now. So let's do the X app or Twitter 1 2 3. And that was also the Umidigi by a long shot. So let's also do the Bible app. We'll get those open on the count of 3. 1 2. Hold on. 1 2 3. Umidigi did it again. So it just seems to be a little bit quicker. And we're gonna do, I know that the software update just completed right here on the Moto, so maybe that's why it was just lacking a little bit because of that downloading happening in the background. So that could be the reason why you see it performing a little bit faster. Let's do Facebook 1 2 3. But the Umidigi did open up quicker one more time. So definitely think that the Umidigi is going to be a little bit quicker when it comes to the speed. And let's do a fingerprint test. They both actually have side mounted fingerprints. The Moto is asking me to put my password in. Okay, let's do that on the count of 3. 1 2 3. The Umidigi is just doing really good right now. I don't know if it's just luck, but it's definitely a quicker fingerprint sensor as well as a quicker speed on the refresh rate. There's a little bit of lag on the Moto's fingerprint, but it's pretty quick. Okay, now it's getting warmed up. So it's just a little bit behind the Umidigi's fingerprint sensor. But they both do offer facial recognition as well. But let me know which one of these devices you would pick. I definitely think the gaming is a little bit better on the Moto, but the cameras might be a little bit better on the Umidigi. The battery is pretty much even, but with the display that's 720 on the Moto, you're gonna get better battery. The sound quality is definitely gonna stand out on the Moto with the Dolby Atmos, but the storage you're getting is gonna be more RAM and virtual RAM on the Umidigi. So it's a toss-up, but I definitely think that both of these devices will have some really cool experiences, especially this one having the stylus. They also come in some really cool colors, and they both feel like they have metal edges and really good build quality. This one also does come with a case, whereas this one doesn't come with the case or the brick. So they went eco-friendly this time. But let me know what you guys think about both of these phones, and I'm gonna check you guys later. I'll get right back with you in the next video, okay? If you found this video helpful, make sure you hit the like button, subscribe, and get notified for more videos just like this, and type I'm still here so I know you're still kicking it with me, and I'll check you guys later, okay? Peace.